So you're saying before that you've done things like, especially for Remedy Kombucha, you did things like create the pitch and create the pitch deck and basically try to help them sell it into certain places.
Yeah.
I've done this the last few podcasts, and it's a really, really good exercise to go through. And what I've asked the people is, if you were to come and approach me if I'm a buyer at a Coles or a Woolies or a convenience chain, what are you saying to me? What collateral am I receiving? How much is too much? All those type of things.
Yeah. At the very highest level, I think the mindset needs to be there's a problem, and we're going to fix this problem. We're going to help you fix this problem. And the problem is often, there's a gap that you're not seeing, or there's a gap that we can fill. And, and we're going to start on Monday. And the dips is an absolute classic. So, evidence that gap is there, evidence that what you're doing is working to a degree, and you have traction.
How do you show evidence that the gap's there? You do the same thing. You go to their fridge and you say, here's one of your current fridges and here's what it should be, kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So evidence is really key, which is very, very hard in the very early days, but you can get hold of scan data. There's various other ways you can do it with, results from focus groups, and obviously bring samples and show samples and let people eat or drink what you're showing them as well. And I think, often there's a bit of logic that is illustrated that isn't always obvious.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then obviously, apart from the product and articulating that this is the trend, or this is what's going to trend. As I said before, the brand, the packaging, the purpose. Obviously, pricing comes into it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Let's just give it a crack. If it isn't going to work, I'll happily remove it.
Yep.
Sort of approach.
Yep. And then with kind of positioning. Positioning, as we know, is super important, especially in the FMCG game.
Yeah.
If your price is higher than the other guy, i.e. the premium dips, so are they at a higher price point, or are they at the same price point?
Nothing Dips is very slightly premium to mainstream, but we've proven already that it's within reach for, especially when you start doing some promotions, to get it back into the fray of mainstream dips. But it is slightly premium, but within reach, and most people are open to another 50 cents or $1 to help the planet. Yeah.
And how important is it to have sales before? So if you're going into a Coles or a Woolies or a convenience chain, how important is it to demonstrate the fact that you've done sales, you've got social media, you've got people that follow, you've got people that buy into the brand? And because a lot of these supermarkets and that type of thing, they're kind of looking for more customers, right? So if they know that you're stocked somewhere, rather than them having to buy it online or something like that, it'll actually drive custom to their shops.
Yeah,
right?
Totally. I mean, utopia rule is you have brand awareness of your product and brand before it's ranged in a major. So, as the brand owner, you've got a much higher chance of consumers taking that product off the shelf. And obviously for the retailer, they've got more assurance that that's going to happen as well. I mean, there are exceptions to the rule. I know, David at H2 Cocoa, which is one of the first coconut waters, oh my God, a dozen years ago now, he actually started with Woolworths. But equally, it was one of the first coconut waters. So
yeah, so he was very unique at the time.
Yeah, exactly. And then Nothing Dips, again, Woolworths was our first stockist as well. It's been tough, been through a range review already and survived just. So an exciting future there. And I think it really depends on the proposition, almost outside of the product, as I keep saying, as well as the product itself. And then you've got to work really hard from a sales and marketing point of view to make sure it stays on the shelf, and consumers continue to take it off the shelf. And with the dips, we started in autumn, winter, and we haven't even gone for a spring, summer yet. So there's lots of upsides there as well.
And for that next step, so you've gotten your product into a trial or a pilot at one of these, majors, we'll call it. How do you grow it within the major? Is it a matter of creating relationships up the chain, or is it a matter of rewarding making sure that you stay close to the original buyer? Who makes that call, and what do you have to do to get in there and farm?
Yeah, look, I mean, it has to sell to stay in, right? It's not complicated, and if I ranked the most important things, I think it is promotion. So making sure in a supermarket setting, whether you like it or not, you need to promote, you need to get that ticket on the shelf to get it highlighted, to communicate to people that are already shopping in the category. And dips is a classic. Recently we've been quite aggressive, to try and switch people out from plastic into paper. Obviously, great relationship is good, and illustrating that you're really investing both time and energy and financially into the brand from a marketing point of view. Whether that be digitally, both the big chains here have internal marketing companies where you can do lots of tricks, in-store point of sale and online, propagating on their online store and all this kind of stuff. So, but yeah, not easy, and it does take time. And obviously it's, depends which category we're talking as well, obviously. Some categories are up for more disruption than others. Some are lagging a little bit behind in terms of innovation. So, as I said, always plenty of opportunities, Tim.
What's your